Welcome back to the den for my top 5, top 6 Southern Witchcrafts. Southern Witchcrafts is produced by Courtney and Stephen in Tucker, Georgia. It is a vegan base. This was extremely hard. I only have 11 different soap sets from Southern Witchcrafts. I love most of them. There's a couple that I'm up in the air about that I still need to familiarize myself with a little bit more. Pomona is one of them. It's just, I think I'm not really a red wine kind of guy. But something that I love about Southern Witchcrafts is earthy and dark. If they were to have a theme for their fragrance, I think it is fair to say earthy, dark fragrances. Number 5, Carpathia. Carpathia is a tribute to Bram Stoker's Dracula. The scent notes with it: evergreen forest, musk, herbs, rose, coffee, and black tea. Very dark, masculine, beautiful fragrance. These little 4-ounce bottles are plastic. You can see there the prices have gone up a little bit. I paid $15 for this one a couple years ago. But the prices of everything have gone up, right? Number 5, Carpathia. Number 4, Lycanthropy. A lycanthrope is a werewolf. This one's all about transcending human barriers. They got a lot of really cool themes going on with their fragrances that match the name of the fragrance and kind of a mood that they're trying to set. With lycanthropy, we have fir tree, lilac, musk, mildew, I'll come back to that, moss, Egyptian jasmine, palo santo, white sage, and ozone. I don't know, my opinion here, I don't know if Southern Witchcrafts does themselves any justice by putting scent notes out there like mildew. I forgot to point out with Carpathia, on the label of Carpathia we have balsam, whetstone, exotic musk, and black tea. With lycanthropy it says fir, lilac, musk, oak moss, mildew. So that's not all the scent notes, but they do list some of the main ones on most of the labels, not all. I'll show you a couple examples of that in a second. But for a lot of us, when we see words like mildew, I think it's fair to say it conjures negative scent memories, if you will. I don't pick up mildew at all. In fact, with some of these, they're so complex that it's difficult to pick out any one fragrance. I get a lot of fir and lilac, moss and palo santo, maybe the white sage. It could be a combination of the both of the two that I'm picking up, but I don't smell mildew. So I think, it's kind of a supporting character in the fragrance. So do not be turned off by fragrances like that. And we'll talk about that a little bit more here in a second with another fragrance of theirs that I absolutely love. Number 4, lycanthropy. Number 3, autumn ash. This is my wife's absolute favorite fragrance from Witchcrafts. On their sales page, they state that it's the quintessential autumn fragrance. I did a review of this last fall. And I believe I said in that review what I'm about to say. I can't agree with that statement anymore. It is the quintessential autumn fragrance. Notes: maple, spice, smoke, amber, oud, rain, plum, blackberry, ash, birch tar, pumpkin, coffee, dirt, and there's mildew again. On the label we have maple, spice, smoke, amber, cedar. It's good stuff, Maynard. It really, really is. This is a beautiful fragrance. I need to eventually pick up the EDP. I have 2 of their EDPs, and I'll talk about that when I get to those fragrances. Number 3, Autumn Ash. Thank you again, Mr. Glenn Sherman, the luxury shaving hobbyist. He sent me this. I'd had a sample of it. I was raving about the sample, I think on Instagram or somewhere, and Glenn saw it and he sent that to me. So with these top fives, I've been trying to focus on fragrances that I know are available. They're kind of like flagship fragrances that you can count on being available even 6 months from now, or whenever you might watch this. That's kind of my focus, is I want to have them to be available for the viewer when they discover the video, and if you're inspired by it. But if I weren't doing that, there is a fragrance that it can be found here and there. In fact, the Shave Supply actually has, I believe it's the Splash on clearance for $12. But if I weren't abiding by that rule, I would be throwing in, I was thinking I had only 2 of their EDPs. I have 3. I have Grapefruit 2, which is absolutely amazing. That's not what I was reaching for. Valley of Ashes. So if I was to do non-flagships, Valley of Ashes would be my number 2, and that would have bumped off Carpathia. However, that's not how I'm doing it. Real briefly, my number 2, abiding by the flagship rules, Druantia. It's a tribute to the Druid celebration of the winter solstice. I love this fragrance. I really, really love this fragrance. Cedar, oak moss, rosewood. Cedar, oak moss, rosewood, moss, cypress, tobacco, fungus. There's another one of those scent notes. Sandalwood. I'm going to slaughter this one. It's a mushroom. Mitsutake. Myrrh, amber, orange, ginger. I was going to look up the pronunciation of that before I did this video. Epic fail, kids. Not bad. Number 2, Druantia. Last but not least, my number 1. If you look out there at certain places on the web, like I even believe the Shave Supply, Gareth, his store, he still has the old sales page up. This was a limited release, but it was so popular that Courtney and Steven have made it a flagship fragrance. Labyrinth. So damn good. As soon as I tried it, I knew I had to have the EDP, and I bought it. One of the great things about their EDPs is it's also affordable, just like their soap and splashes. It varies from EDP to EDP, depending on the cost of the raw ingredients that are going into it. But you can get their EDPs for as little as 20, and I don't recall ever seeing any over 30. And these are 30 milliliter bottles, and you can get 8 hours easy. Even like Labyrinth is a light fragrance, lighter fragrance, but I can get easy 8 hours out of it. Probably 10 or 12 easily out of like Valley of Ashes. Labyrinth. They're going for like a wet stone kind of fragrance with this one. Myrrh, musk, ambergris, lavender, vanilla, sandalwood, ginger, bitter citrus, wet stone. I absolutely love this fragrance. I cannot say enough good things about it. This one also comes in a glass bottle, or at least it did when I bought it. Real briefly, let me put my page here. And for anyone who's curious about Valley of Ashes, it's inspired by The Great Gatsby. In the story of The Great Gatsby by Scott Fitzgerald, I believe there's an initial in there, Scott F. Fitzgerald or something. Right? Yep. Coal tar, bourbon, tobacco, bitter citrus, smoke, leather, motor oil. I don't smell motor oil. Oh my God. Burning rubber. I don't smell burning rubber. I couldn't, like, if I was to wear either one of those fragrances, my wife would tell me to stay outside. Coal tar, bourbon, tobacco, bitter citrus, smoke, leather, motor oil, burning rubber, diesel. I do like the smell of diesel. Clove, birch tar, bergamot. It's not that I don't like the smell of motor oil or burning rubber. I don't like the smell of burning rubber. I can't really say that that's a pleasant smell. The best way for me to describe this fragrance, especially to PAA fans like myself, think brain fart, Boomtown Bay Rum without the Bay Rum. It still wouldn't smell exactly like Boomtown, but it's in that same avenue. And it's like the coal tar. I'm not super familiar with coal tar, but I know what it smells like. And even the bourbon, maybe I pick up a little bit of bourbon, but this is one of those fragrances that is so well blended and so well orchestrated, just like that Labyrinth, that it's just a beautiful fragrance. And even though, you see words like coal tar, motor oil, burning rubber, diesel, clove, I don't pick out clove. I don't particularly care for clove, and that mostly goes back to those clove cigarettes that you see people smoke, or at least here in Oregon, it's still sometimes you'll run into people who still think it's like what was popular in the 80s or something. Anyways, I've rambled on long enough. I want to thank you for joining me for my top 5 Southern Witchcrafts. If you've never tried them, it is a killer base, and it is one of the most economical options out there. Not quite as economical as, say, Sterling, but 4-ounce splash, 4-ounce soap. It's good stuff, Maynard. It really is. I believe that Southern Witchcrafts is often overlooked, and I believe it's because partially to some of their scent notes that the average wet shaver, including myself, I put them off for years. I didn't start using Southern Witchcrafts until just about 2 years ago, last year. So I haven't been using them very long, and part of it, I was just like, I don't know if that's for me. Let me tell you, I fell in love with these guys almost immediately, and I have other ones like Desirology, which is their barbershop. Samhain, I almost put Samhain in this. Samhain is so damn good. Check out Southern Witchcrafts. It's the little big things. It really is, guys. I hope you have a great weekend. It's Friday. Yep. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for joining me.